Hello and welcome to MotoGP Mac, where MotoGP fans come to congregate and fanboys fear to tread. How you
Hello,
doing,
hello.
pal?
I'm doing
Yeah,
great, doing excellent.
we are missing our main man, Mac.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, he's on some
Mm-hmm.
personal matters,
Right,
but we promise to give you the honest answers and views that you always love us for.
right. The
Uh,
special edition today.
a special edition.
Mm-hmm. So, um, so I've been watching a lot of testing in was it Buriram? And
Around.
and so it seemed like it's more of a Ducati test than anything else. It's just
They're
all
tough.
Ducati.
Yes.
So that's like the main person everyone's talking about, worried about. Um, it seemed like one guy, he's kind of shook up another rider because he's saying that they're obviously fast, but they're also holding back. So
I don't know if it's holding back or they're
Mhm.
just like testing a lot to make sure with this 2 years engine freeze on the European and on the European bikes they have a 2 year freeze, so they're making extra special sure that they're
Okay.
getting that right. You know, because you
Hmm.
remember back in 23 when they got the engine wrong, they had
Okay.
that
Yeah.
23 and a half,
Yeah.
and it was like they screwed up at the last minute.
They were slower.
Yeah, then
Um.
they were like making up time for the bad mistake 3 4 races into it. I'll tell you
Right.
what though, think about it. Now they don't have that. They're getting off from Jump Street where a bike that they know is already sorted. I don't know if that could be a plus. Don't you think?
Yeah. So, but they chose last year's engine configuration. So maybe it's the same issue as like a 23 where the engine wasn't an upgrade almost. It was almost like they were working backwards. So
We're working
I
backwards,
guess
right?
they caught it early. They're like, hey, this engine isn't as competitive as last year, so let's just stick with last year's engine.
Let's go with
So
what we know. Yeah.
yeah, and it seems like they're always hesitant to release well, to tell you too much. It seems like they try to tell you just enough to answer the interviewer's question, which was Jack Jack Appleyard, which I think Jack's really good. He kind of reminds me of Simon, the way he
Oh,
interviews.
yeah.
Yeah, so I'm glad they have him doing that because he kind of pushes just enough for them to tell you what they need to tell you, and then he doesn't do it too much to where they're irritated and frustrated with him.
Yeah.
So yeah, I like that. But they're saying they're using the 24 chassis and engine, and they're using the 24 chassis and engine, and then 25 electronics and suspension. But I don't know. It's looking really good.
The one thing I got to get straight though, because
Mhm.
we always get the nutball, the guy that knows, you know, sitting in his armchair,
Okay.
um, has had one bike in his life, and remember the guy's like, every year we go through this, and you haven't been here where they had this, where they do the testing, Yamaha or Honda throws out a flying lap, okay, and all of a
Okay.
sudden they're going to make a comeback. They got it lit, right? They're
Hmm.
coming back. Folks, I don't know how many years you got to see this. It doesn't work that way.
Yeah.
MotoGP does not flip. Okay, the
Hmm.
reason the Japanese are in such a lull is because of weak engineering. Now that ain't going to change overnight. They
No.
even the Japanese say we need European engineers. Okay, uh, so it's like they're not going to go through a season or go leave off one season being crap, and then all of a sudden, hey, a month later we went out there for 3 days, and all of a sudden we're back on track. That's not
No.
how it works.
No.
I don't
But
care. Like the old saying is, I don't care if you have a Japanese bike in your garage; it doesn't make them any faster on the
yeah.
track.
Yeah.
I mean, they can't.
Maybe on the inside of the person,
Yeah,
but
the person, but yeah, they can't even. It's at the point now they can't win. They haven't won a comparison even in production bikes in the past 17 years. They haven't had a best in class in 17 years. They really got to
Mhm,
get their home fires. The Japanese have to get their home fires
mhm.
burned so they can pull themselves up by their own bootstraps.
Yeah.
You know, before they're
That's
going to start beating the Europeans.
that's gonna take time. They're not used to doing that. So that's gonna take a little time. But I did like to see Mir, even though this is a test. I mean, we're seeing a lot of different riders and manufacturers, in the top 10, which I feel like that's interesting, especially Honda, like you mentioned. Mir is showing some improvement. I want to say I don't want to give it too much, but
yeah, you say
yeah.
with you say it trepidatiously. Let's put it that way, right?
Mm-hmm.
No. Quartararo. If you see Quartararo, did a kind of
Yep.
couple of sessions in the first two, but see, it's like comparing apples and apples. You have Ducati who's testing, and somebody else who's throwing out a hot lap.
Right. It's kind of hard. Yeah, it's hard to figure it out because the race setting is completely different than, let's just say, qualifying, or like you're saying, a hot lap or whatever it is. And other people, they're doing testing too. So it's not like they're like, you may have some people doing hot laps. You may have somebody doing like a sprint test, 12 laps. So they're trying to just get a pace going. It's not like they're just trying to get the fastest lap. They're just trying to get a consistent pace doing these sessions. So I think you really can't. It's good to have the times, but you really can't tell because you don't know. You don't know, what the race is going to be like. The conditions can be completely different, and that could cause people to go faster or slower in the times.
Right, exactly.
So,
but it was still it's still a Ducati fest at the end. By the end, yeah. It was like, was it 8 out of 10? Was it out of the top 10? And you know that the Honda and Yamaha had a flyer lap on it. They weren't.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if anybody that Ducati ran a flyer lap, other maybe Marquez.
Yeah,
he was doing a 10 lap simulation, wasn't he? If I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, 8 or 10,
Yeah.
But
and he blitzed it, didn't he?
Man, if I had to put money on it, it's looking like Marquez. I don't know. It's early, but he's shown the most consistency, I want to say. But you know how Pecco is. Pecco is with qualifying, his times will be low, but then in a race, he'll jump out in front of you and he's gone.
Yeah.
So
he tests. He almost tests the whole time until he hits the track.
Right.
Sometimes he reminds me of that bird. Remember Bugs Bunny? I'm bringing home a baby, bumblebee. And then all of a sudden, the light turns and he goes.
Right. He has a switch. I feel like I call it a switch to where, he'll test or qualify kind of in the mid pack of the top, but then when he races, he will. I don't know. He just picks up speed. I don't know. Like, where is he getting his speed from? Because it's out of nowhere.
Yeah,
so
it's not like he did it before. It's not like he had a map to go off of. I already run 2-minute flats. Okay, say, and now I'm going to do another one. He's like, okay, when he's doing it, it's the first time he did it. The 2 minutes.
Okay. Yeah. So he's he's a wild card to me. So what do you think about KTM?
KTM just doesn't have the. I know somebody's going to say, "Oh, they put a lot of parts on." They did, but there's a difference between. Mac was right. They're not going to have a lot of money for development. Okay.
Right.
There's a difference between making new parts and having development. You can make the parts, but you haven't tested them all. Right.
Yeah.
That's development is testing of those parts.
Mm-hmm.
Right. You can have a truckload of it, but if they just if the truck just pulled up to the racetrack and you don't know what they are, if they were good, bad, or different, they're not developed.
Yeah.
And that's, I think their only chances to do well is Pedro.
Yeah. Yeah. All of the Bastianini clearly said that he's the fastest out of the group.
Yeah.
So,
which is surprising that he would actually let that out of the bag.
Yeah.
The racer says, "Oh yeah, he's faster."
He's faster. Yeah. I mean, but hey, that's what it's looking like. It's looking like he is the fastest out of the group. So I don't know how I feel about that. I know he's good. I know he's fast, but it seems like the other guys are a ways off. Well, they're
what really surprised me? Bezecchi, who came in third on the Aprilia.
Okay. Yeah. I
Where's
like. I
that
mean,
come
he's
from?
looking good.
He's looking good. I mean, it's not
Mhm.
like, and it wasn't like a one lap. It was bam, 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 bam. He
Right.
did a bunch of them, you know.
Right.
Uh,
So that's
I
that's good. Good.
he was third.
That's promising. Hmm.
Yeah, well, that when he's third, that brought a tear to my eye. Figuring what would have Martin done? You know,
Yeah.
you just not jumped on it right from the start because,
Hmm.
but that's his
That's how he
mo.
is. Yep.
Yeah,
That's how he
he always
is.
does that. How many times did he went? Oh my God, first lap, and he has his pole position or second lap, or, you
Hmm.
know.
I mean, and Marquez is like that too. He'll get on it, and just fly. And
Yes.
I feel like he's learning from that style of riding, like balls to the wall, whatever you want to call it, and all those falls, because in 2023 he had the most. I want to say, was that with Grassini, but he had the most in 2023.
Oh,
Uh,
you see, yeah,
mhm. 24, he still had a couple. It wasn't as much, but that's just how he rides. He goes to the limit. He's always on the limit.
yeah. Kevin
So,
Schwantz used to do that. He used to go out and
mhm.
say, "Okay, when I crash, I know I can't go that fast
Right.
in that corner." Yeah,
Hmm.
that's a hell of a way to.
Yeah.
You're
Yeah.
gonna have
That's
balls of
dangerous.
grass to pull that one off.
Yeah.
Yeah. You always
So
think in the back of your head, don't you think? Does he have a special? Does he practice falling? Does he have this special technique for falling that he doesn't break himself to a million pieces?
I hope so. Unless it's
Yeah,
pain, he don't feel pain or something. I don't know. Maybe
they have
he
soft
has
dirt. Yeah,
yeah. He's got a gift to fall and not get hurt or something. He's in pervious, I guess you could say, to injuries. But back to Aprilia, Martin is out. So Trackhouse, I don't know. It seems like they're ways off. Even Raul Fernandez is,
Raul's done. He broke himself up too. Remember?
yeah.
So
I see. Oh, I'm looking at Thailand, but he was down and he was set. Well, he's still hurt. So,
yeah.
um,
And
yeah,
there's no
yeah.
big loss there though. That's a shame. I don't know what they're thinking with that kid.
The new guy or him? You saying Raul?
No. Raul. I
Hmm.
mean, right from the get go, he comes from another team with attitude, and then like damaging, attitude. Today's Marcus, and then he just never produces.
Hmm.
Then he's hurting, and they just keep letting him stay on a factory machine.
Right,
I don't understand it. And everybody says, "Oh, they're so ruthless." I don't see it. They're too nice.
right. Unless he is their best option. I wouldn't say best, but maybe
Yeah,
that's it, their only option.
yeah, but the lap times don't put out that.
Yeah, yeah.
It's not like he's putting out a lap record and then crashing. And you say, well, if he just stops crashing, he'd be good.
Hmm.
It's the old expression. It's easier to get a guy to stop crashing than to go fast. But that's
Right,
not the case here. He's
right.
not doing either.
He's not on the limit.
No, he's not on the limit and he's crashing.
Hmm. Um, I don't know. I have a feeling. I don't. We'll see later on in the season, but I don't know. I can see this. I don't know what his contract is, but I can see this maybe being his either
Yeah,
last season or yeah,
got
next to last, because
gotta be.
you got to produce. I mean, if you're not producing, then
Yeah,
why
and
why we have you
Morbidelli's
here?
the same thing. He hasn't produced in forever, but at least he'll have
Man,
flashes. You know,
yeah, hmm,
okay, he did flash here. Somewhere you're thinking if he puts it together, maybe. With
right,
Raul, I don't even see a maybe.
maybe, yeah.
Yeah,
So that looks like his time is short, but yeah, Morbidelli though, he's showing something. He's
yeah,
showing
yeah.
something. Yeah, like he's
He's in,
saying, he's not at the bottom, but I mean, he's in the middle somewhere.
yeah,
So that's better than I'll take middle somewhere than the bottom. Because
right.
I feel like you can work with that. Even if he's um, I'm trying to think. Yeah, how I guess he can really block. I can see him maybe trying to help out Pecco
Yeah, yeah.
later
Be a
on down the
wingman for
road.
Pecco. Yeah,
Yeah. Yeah. He may need it. We don't know.
That's a good idea. Huh.
Yeah.
You
I
put
don't.
you out there. Yeah.
Hey, don't. If you see that, just know I called it. I called it first. That he can maybe be an assistant, I guess you could say, to Pecco, or I'm trying to think of who else in that camp, but it may just be him though.
I
So
want to see what Yamaha's going to do. That's
yeah.
the kicker. I mean, they're running an inline four. Okay,
Hmm. Hmm.
that inline four hit the wall development wise 3 years ago.
Yeah.
Okay,
Hmm.
and anything you see is really Fabio. They hit the wall. So what you can get it through maybe through better aerodynamics, maybe, or better braking, better
Yeah.
handling. But it ain't coming from that engine. It
No.
can. You
No.
can have. They can. An inline four can equal a V4 in power, but in doing so, they come apart. You
Yeah.
know. So
It's
I've
not
been
worth. It's not
saying
worth
for
it.
years. But if you're gonna come, if you know you're not gonna win, you might as well feed the rider something and let them go balls to the walls. Here, give me a horsepower engine. If it goes, it goes. Hey, have fun with it.
I would.
Go for that win at least.
I would do that if he's showing that he has really good race pace and he has a possibility to get on the podium or win. Then I would turn it up.
Yeah,
I would give it to him because that's his best chance. If you blow it up on this one, on this race or whatever, it's worth it.
yeah. I mean,
Hmm.
so what? How bad? How big? They say, well, they might run it out of engines at the end of the year. Well, it's better than being ranked, 14th at the end of the year too.
Yeah, the
Oh
bottom.
yeah, they have spare engines, but they're 14th. Like, oh,
Hmm.
big deal.
Right.
Uh,
Also, Jack Miller. I don't know. It seems like doing this interview is kind of like a mixed bag. Of him. He's saying he likes the bike, but he's saying they have a lot more development they need to do on it, which we all know that.
yeah.
But I don't know. I just want to see him back into the fight of top 10, at least top 10.
He was never an alien.
Hmm.
He's the guy you want to have a beer with.
Yeah.
After the race and shoot the shit with, and it makes you laugh, and
Right.
it's typical Australian.
Yeah.
Uh,
Good guy.
good guy, yeah,
Hmm.
and hot headed, so you know where he's coming from. But he's never been the consistent racer. The Lorenzo said it about him. He says his lines are never the same. Like
Hmm.
they always have you can put a quarter down and they hit this quarter on on the same lap every time. They'll
Right.
hit that corner. There's that.
Hmm.
Well, he said not with Miller. He'll be up, over, left, right, left. Every corner is going to be a little different.
Hmm.
So that cuts your speed down. But here's
Right.
another one. Like you say, if you're going to have somebody as a wingman, he's a
Hmm.
tried proved as a wingman.
Hey, I'd rather see Miller
And
with
you might need it.
Fabio.
Fabio Quartararo with a wingman with Miller
Man,
as a wingman.
hey, that would be interesting.
Because if they can't, remember they said, well, they can't keep the speed. They can keep the speed if nobody's around them in the Yamaha. They can keep that flow if they do that. What if they have Miller just try to keep that block and try to keep that flow
Hmm.
so Fabio keeps a fast lap going around.
Right. I saw that. So that's when I actually started pay attention into that is when I saw Fabio and Maverick were doing that. When they were closer to the front, they were in a sense battling, but they were just staying close almost so that nobody would get whoever's in the back, they were kind of just holding the other person up. That's whoever the other manufacturer was that was behind him. He's kind of blocking that, from them passing. So I think that's a better strategy for them. If they don't have the power, they got to
Right.
stick together and try to, I don't know. It's not like a car. A car you can push them, but I don't know.
Yeah.
They got to work on the strategy. But I would love to see Miller and Fabio in the same garage. That would be
Yeah.
interesting.
No, it's funny. They had I saw one of those 30-second clips on YouTube. they had Fabio has his card out there, 20, and it says pull into the pits, box. It says.
Okay.
Fabio,
Oh yeah.
he comes out and he goes to Marquez. Box because he was like blowing everybody away in the field. He's like, "Come on!" He's laughing, making a joke. Come
in. He's trying to get as much time on the new bike as possible. Which to me, that's the smartest thing for him to do. Is he needs to become one with that bike and then one with it as soon as possible because that's his best advantage.
He's become one.
Become one, meaning you don't have to think about it. You remember, I don't know if you remember Jorge Martin in the garage before the race, and he just practicing.
Oh, they all do that
in his mind. Yeah. I don't know why we don't see more of that. Why don't we have access to more access to stuff like that? Because that's interesting to see.
In the back, yeah, I know.
So
maybe because they don't want to see people have fits, or they don't want to see them get pissed off.
I guess. Yeah.
I remember when Marquez had that huge high side, but they didn't show you. They showed a piece of it because it was far away. What made that bad is he crashed, and then he jumps right up. And we were talking about how knockouts, what different kind of knockouts are bad. He had the worst one where he jumped right up, and then he runs back to the pits, and it was like a couple minutes later, and then passes out. It's a delayed reaction knockout. And he was in the pits, and all of a sudden he goes whoosh, into his chair. He fell.
Okay.
Maybe they don't want to show stuff like that. So,
I mean,
you have to remember.
I want to see it.
Marquez is still damaged goods.
Okay, so no, they try to limit the negative publicity.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. I want to see that though. I don't know. Hey, tell we'll pay a little extra to see more content.
Drama.
We want to see that. It's almost like that Drive to Survive. I heard they're working on Drive to Survive not Drive to Survive, but whatever it is for MotoGP, they're working on it like a series for Netflix. Like Drive to
Survive, yeah.
Right. So I want to see that stuff, man. I watch all the little documentaries. I watched the one with Rossi and everyone leading up to now. I like to see because there's a lot of things I didn't know about the rivalries with Lorenzo, with my mind is drawing a blank, but Casey Stoner. I didn't know there's little details that you wouldn't know unless they talked about it in the documentaries or the series, whatever you want to call it. So
they don't want to know. So I think the Marquez Rossi clash kind of overshadows everybody else,
right?
As far as that's concerned,
right?
Because actually Rossi was always tumbling with somebody for bitching and moaning and running off.
Seems like it.
Yeah. And Marquez the same thing, banging into people.
Yeah,
he coined the term bash passing on this channel. Nobody had it before that. That and in Japanese inferior. Japanese inferior engineering. Okay. So if you see it somewhere else, it came from here.
Okay. So I'm gonna ask you something. I'm gonna try to keep this short and sweet, but I'm gonna ask you something.
We're not gonna be long, guys.
Yeah. We kind of try to mix things up for people. Try to give them a little bit of some different perspectives, different views, and so I'm gonna ask you, who do you think is gonna be like riders and manufacturers, like 1, 2, 3, this year? Which riders do you think will have the most wins? Which one's gonna come in second, which one's coming third, and then like maybe manufacturers. I think I know who you're gonna say is gonna be first, but
of course you got in my view, you got Ducati with I can't go against Marquez from what he's looking. Marquez winning the title, Pecco second, and then maybe an Aprilia third. Maybe Bezzecchi because he's been running so strong, or maybe Martin comes back earlier than we think. We can make the difference.
Possibly. So you're saying
when I saw that third, I didn't expect it. Did you? After
What's that?
I did not expect them to be third. The Aprilia to be third.
They'll probably be third.
Yeah.
Yeah, they shouldn't. They shouldn't be. They have a lot of bugs and kinks they got to work out.
Well, it's not a lot. They had
Mhm.
one big kink, and that was overheating. It was heating.
Yeah. And then
They
that
said they
launch.
finally got that straightened out, and I think that's what opened the floodgates. If you can cut the heating problem down, you know what that allows you to do? It allows you to raise the horsepower.
Okay.
That's always been lacking, right?
Yeah.
I think they've made a jump in horsepower.
Right. Because you
Yeah.
can't just turn it up. It has to.
Yeah,
It has to.
the more
Yeah.
horsepower you have, the more heat you have.
That sounds. Yeah. That sounds. I think maybe. I'm just saying. People may think it's just easy just to just hit a button. You know, on a street bike, you hit a button, you turn it up, and everything works. But in racing, it has to work together. You know, everything has to work together. So you can't just hit a button sometimes and turn things up. But so
It's
you're
all
saying
down to engineering. It's all down to which car has the strongest engineering, whether it be on the racetrack and like I said, on the street. Even if you have who has the best bikes. Like I said, 17 years, and if you have, like you say, super bikes, if you have 10 super bikes, you have 5 Euros and 5 Japanese. The top 5 are European.
Mm-hmm.
We even hit and then you hit all Japanese at the bottom. They're like at the bottom. People aren't buying them anymore.
Okay.
They even lost in this. They're losing on their bread and butter bikes too.
Yeah.
Right? The CB 500. That's a bread and butter bike. Lost to a Chinese bike, the CF Moto 400.
Okay.
Whoa! How do you lose that? You got your ass handed to you by a Chinese bike. That's not good. That's not good at all.
It's marketing. We're seeing a change in the market.
Yeah, and the second thing I was going to say is like Honda is taking on those two car companies, the Mitsubishi and Nissan, which are failing entities. Like they're big debts.
Oh yeah,
that they're going to try to put those fires out first. So whatever you see, they're not going to go. I'm thinking it's going to curtail the MotoGP effort. Okay. Might not do it today, but a couple months down the road, they're like, okay, you've had your shot. We're not putting any more money into it, or we're not going to keep going ape shit on it.
Okay.
Because they're having to take on this big debt.
Yeah, KTM. That reminds me of KTM.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. And they're taking on, they're $50 billion in debt, or $55 billion in debt, and taking on another $9 billion.
Yeah.
So, and it's a 9 on a sinking ship. So that's not a fun, with Nissan and Mitsubishi.
So I mean, we'll see. We'll definitely keep tabs on all of that. So so you saying Ducati first, Aprilia second, and what, KTM third this year?
Yeah. I'd have to say it's KTM or Yamaha.
Okay. And then for riders, you're saying Marc Marquez, Bagnaia, Pecco in second, and then third is who's third? Jorge? Or is it Bezzecchi?
Right. Can't you give me both on that one?
So you want to take both on them? Aprilia riders,
right? It's like if I knew how fast he was going to come back. I'll take Martin. I'll take Martin.
Martin? Oh, okay. Yeah, okay.
Just, hanging out there.
Okay. That's their best. I mean, we'll see how he recovers, but that's their best shot. Is I want to say Martin, but we'll just have to see how he gels with that bike.
You're always a Martin fan too.
I like his I guess the compassion. Like he's real eager. He kind of reminds me of Marquez. Like he wants it. He really wants it. You can tell. Yeah. So I like seeing that. Rossi too. I feel like all the greats, they have that compassion for it. They love it.
Like
they love it.
Anything else?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So I like seeing that. I like seeing people who love what they do.
Yeah,
And
yeah. If I
mhm.
don't care if you're selling tomatoes and you see some, well, I want to sell more tomatoes than anybody else in the freaking world.
Anything. It goes for anything. Like you'll see people who are compassionate for their with their jobs or whatever it is they do. And then
Mhm.
it kind of inspires you
Right.
to do whatever you do, you know.
Yeah.
So
I remember building buildings. I said, had my first one. It's like I want to build a freaking skyscraper,
yeah.
And I built more and more, and then
Hmm.
sold them
Okay.
eventually. Uh, it
Excellent.
was fun on the way up. Then the tax man came. God, they suck.
Yeah. You got that reality check. Okay.
What's your call?
So I mean, riders is gonna be Marquez. I feel like Marquez and Pecco. Maybe 1, 2, whichever one, can get on. What does Max say? Get on? Is that what he
Yeah.
says? So and then 3,
I just hope they don't take each other out.
it's gonna happen. It's gonna happen.
It's your one call that you're confident on.
I think it's gonna happen because they're both champions.
Yeah.
How can you have 2 champions that aren't gonna try to go for it? That's
It's a tough one. It's a
yeah.
really
I can't see Gigi being like, "Hey, Marquez, you need to let Pecco pass you," or "Hey,
No.
that's not
They
gonna
haven't done it
happen."
before. Yeah, they haven't done it before. They haven't never gave team orders before.
Right.
So I don't think they're going to start now.
And you know how Marquez is; he's gonna go for it. So
No. Yeah, I just hope he doesn't bash.
yeah.
Through the bash passing. I mean, if you're
Mhm.
passing's great. Going back and
Okay.
forth. And folks, we do have passings. One guy was another one. They don't have passing anymore. We do have passing. Okay,
Mhm.
the European brands pass each other because they're equal to one another.
Mhm.
All right. It's just the Japanese aren't passing. If they would just pull themselves up by their bootstraps, I want to
Mhm.
see the Japanese excel, but I want to see them do it on their own merit.
Right.
Right?
Right.
No bashing, no pushing the Europeans down or anybody down. If Chinese come in and they have the best bike, I don't want to see them get beat up because of it.
Mm-hmm. Engineering.
Yeah, let the best engineers win. Let the best manufacturer win.
I agree with that. I agree.
There shouldn't be. We have concessions for, like, right now. You have concessions, but only for the European brands. I mean, only for the Japanese. The Japanese, the Japanese can rebuild their engine for the next 2 years, but if you're European, you can't. And the European company is this big compared to this giant, the 2 giants. They should be the other way around. It's like handing, you had Goliath, right? David and Goliath. That's like you didn't hand the sling to Goliath. He handed it to David.
Right.
So
you had to use it.
Yeah, so you don't hand it to the big guy. You hand it to the little guy. You hand it to the little guy, not the big guy.
Right. I mean, we'll see. I mean, good racing. Good racing. If I see good racing, I'm good. I'm satisfied. But I'm thinking, man, my third, I want to say Alex Marquez.
Whoa. We're going way out there.
I know. I think I want to say
where he's had flashes of brilliance.
Yeah, so that's the only thing. Is the consistency basically, and then his race pace. But they say Marquez is saying he's faster. He's faster than him.
Oh, he's always said that. That's him being a brother.
I don't know if he's misleading. Yeah, is he trying to mislead us a little bit, or?
Yeah, I mean, Marquez is the only person who admits he lies. Yeah. You're lying? Yeah, I'm lying.
Yeah. It's a part of it. I guess it's a part of it. He's trying to throw the competitors off a little bit. But we know for my number one is gonna definitely be Ducati. Second manufacturer is I want to say Aprilia. And then maybe KTM.
Really?
What do you think about that? Yeah.
Yeah. Well, you're saying there's going to be two. You're saying Ducati first, Ducati second.
So riders, yeah. The riders is well, all my riders are Ducati, but like as far as the manufacturer that's going to have the most points is going to be, we know it's going to be Ducati. Yeah. And I say I want to say the second best outside of Ducati to me would be I want it to be Aprilia.
Yeah.
and then KTM third.
Well, Yamaha has a bunch of bikes this year. They're the 8 bikes.
Yeah,
The
but
only thing where that's the only time where 8 bikes really makes a hell of a difference is with the manufacturer's title because
well, they have 2 more bikes now, so
Yeah.
maybe that will help them as far as the data and the development.
It's like it's not what it's cracked up to be. Like we've been saying back, and I've been saying that forever. It does help, but it's not the don't bet the mortgage on it. The extra bikes are gonna pull Yamaha out of the hole.
Right. It's more of like you. I mean, you already said it. They need development, the engine. So,
and they're not even on. Don't forget, like I said, we're still on the inline 4. It's a dead horse.
The only one.
Yeah.
So
yeah, it'd be a different story if you had the V4 and you had visions of grandeur were going to go up. Yeah.
If this year they had a V4 and a rookie that was good, an up and coming rookie, I would put them on my list. I would put them as third, possibly third.
Possible third for the
Possible third. But without that, I feel like they're in a rut.
Yeah.
And they probably will be there for a while.
Every year, or every freaking year, every time the first like Sepang, the first one comes out is, they do it for the press, folks. When you see the guys, like they'll see somebody do a real hot lap, and it used to be Taka. That's how they got the name coined kamikaze laps, because it always was Taka on a Honda. They were way behind, but he would go just balls to the wall.
Right. They're like, oh, Honda is doing something.
Yeah, I'm gonna win again. How many times we got to tell you this? You know what I mean?
Right, because I'm still confused on seeing Honda in the top 5. Like even one rider in the top 5 is just like how do they go from the very bottom to top 5? But this is testing though.
Yeah, but it's testing. They do it every year for testing.
It's testing, yeah.
For the PR. And
exactly.
And they do it. They'll come in the back saying, who's going to do the PR run?
Honda.
Who's going to stick your nuts out the farthest? You probably got a guy back there with straws. Who's picking the short straws? And Taka's like, okay, I'll do it.
Yeah.
So it kept them.
It looks good. It keeps the fans engaged. They love it. They're eating it up. Oh man, this is great. So
it's like the drowning sailor gives them a straw to grab a hold of. A straw of hope.
All right. So yeah, it's all good. So yeah, we'll keep it short, simple. Not gonna draw things out. It's still early. We don't even have a race until March. So
no.
we got a ways to go. So, but let's keep it here. It's good to see more testing done, so we have something to look forward to. So
we got to get you a bike. Everybody, we got a Ducati fund for Mac and an Aprilia fund. RSV4 for CD.
I need it. I want a couple. I want both actually, but yeah.
You want that MV, the Series Oro. What is it? 1000 Series Oro. What is it?
I want the I want the IMK collection.
Yeah.
20 bikes. 20 bikes.
Yeah, I want to see his finance plan. I don't know how the hell he can afford it.
I don't want to know. I don't want to know what it is.
Yeah.
That's crazy. But yeah, man, hopefully everybody has a good week. I'm gonna turn it over. I mean, I think we covered a lot today in
we did.
a short amount of time.
You did a great job, buddy.
Man, I appreciate it. Hopefully I still have a job. Hopefully I don't get fired. We'll see. We'll see how things go.
All right, folks.
All right.
Hasta la vista.
We'll see you later.